Hey everyone, my name is Sam Satullo. I'm the youth minister here at Woodbine, and our church family is going through a devotional this year, Christmas Pilgrims, A Journey to See Jesus by Michael McElroy. We're so glad you chose to go with us on this journey. Let's begin. Our devotional for December 17th. Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and we have come to worship him. Matthew 2:2. As mysterious as the name by which we know them, the Magi, or wise men, were Christmas pilgrims too. A journalism student taught to ask who, what, when, where, why, and how would probably find it difficult to write a lead paragraph, much less an entire story about these people who came to Bethlehem to see a newborn king. All the details from Scripture about the Magi are in the first 12 verses of Matthew chapter 2. Everything else about them is from legend, tradition, and speculation. Some sources tell their names, Melchior, Gaspar, and Balthazar. Others say that they were Persian astronomers. Maybe the number of gifts suggested that they were 3 wise men, but we really don't know. Matthew tells us the when Jesus was born in the days of Herod the king. We also know where. The destination of the pilgrims, even if we were unsure of their starting point, they were guided by a star to the vicinity, and then the exact location where they were found, Jesus. We know the why in their own words. We have come to worship the King of the Jews. The how is partially answered. They bowed down and presented their gifts. But how did they know? The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament began his book by saying that God spoke as many times and in varying ways. He communicated through prophets, inspired words, and dramatic actions, through a hand that wrote mysteriously on a wall, even once through a talking donkey, and at least once through a mysterious star. God sent words of instructions and invitations to seekers. The writer of Hebrews also said that in these last days, God has spoken to us by his Son. All those methods and messengers from God in the Old Testament reporting to the one through whom we hear of God today, Jesus. Do you remember the story about Jesus' transfiguration? Peter, James, and John saw Jesus talking with Moses and Elijah. Then they heard the voice of God saying, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." We listen to the one the wise men followed the star to find. These Christmas pilgrims are well known from nativity scenes and Christmas pageants. Every self-respecting nativity scene has wise men in it, whether it's made life-size plastic figures for the yard or delicate hand-painted porcelain for the coffee table. It's ironic that some of the best-known characters in the manger scene were probably not even there. The wise men came later, maybe as much as 2 years later, according to the incidents reported by Matthew. But they did come. They came a long way, brought costly gifts, and bowed down to worship King Jesus. Their deep knowledge of ancient mysteries and their probable position as an advisor to powerful kings could have filled the wise men with so much pride that such a journey and such behavior would have been unthinkable. But somehow God got their attention. Pride and position were cast aside, and they came in humility to worship the promised one. Knowledge can be a bridge to worship for some people, but for others it's a barrier to worship. How is that possible? Which is it in your heart? What makes the difference? Thank you so much for joining us today on our journey to see Jesus. If you'd like your own copy of the book, just go to Amazon.com, type in Christmas Pilgrims and the author's name, Michael B. McElroy, to pick yourself up a copy. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and we hope this is the best one you've ever had.